Welcome to Let's Talk Entrepreneurship. This is our second session in our Let's Talk series. The first one was on branding, and then our next one will be on public relations. So keep an eye out for an announcement on that one. But tonight we're going to focus on entrepreneurship, some tips that I'm going to share with you on starting and growing your business, and then I will answer your questions. So first, a little bit about myself. I'm Carol Cox. I teach in the Internet Marketing Bachelor of Science program. I teach two courses in that program, Internet Business Models and Fundamentals of Digital Entrepreneurship. So a lot of what I'm going to cover tonight, I teach in the Digital Entrepreneurship class. I know that not all of you have the opportunity to take that class. Either you're in the master's program or the master's certificate program, or maybe you're in the bachelor's program, but this is a new class that we've added relatively recently. So I started my first business about 15 years ago. My husband and I, we started a web development business. We did custom database programming and web development for Fortune 500 companies like Office Depot and for Lowe's. That's how we got started. And then from there, we've done projects for all different types and sizes of businesses, from small businesses and startups to nonprofit organizations and political candidates. And so have started several businesses over the past 15 years and have definitely learned a lot from the process of doing so. So hopefully I'll be able to share some of my insights with you tonight. We're going to take a look at the overview of entrepreneurship, answer some questions regarding what types of business entities are there, how can you fund your business, what are some things you need to keep in mind, and then we'll go through and answer your questions. The slides that I'm going to be showing you are available for download, and I'll give you the link at the end of tonight's session. Okay, so the first thing to think about if you want to start a business is to think about what kind of business do you want for yourself and for those around you, your spouse, your partner, your family. So I've kind of chunked these into three different types of businesses. So the first type is what is known as a lifestyle business or solopreneur business. So this is one that's owned entirely by you. So you don't have necessarily any partners, and this is self-funded. So you fund this yourself, either from revenue that you get from the business, or maybe you start a little bit by using some of your savings. You typically focus on a niche market and you grow the business as your revenue increases. You most likely have a very small number of employees. Maybe you don't even have actual employees, but you use contractors or freelancers as needed because as the solopreneur, you're really doing the majority of the work yourself. The advantage of this type of business is it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility. You don't have people to answer to, like partners or investors. There's generally very little infrastructure that's needed, especially at first, and especially if you're doing an internet-based business. And with this type of business, you really don't have a certain exit strategy in mind. You're not looking to sell the business at a relatively soon, say within the next 5 or 10 years. You're really doing this because it's something that you love to do. It's a passion that you have, and it's a product or service that you want to serve a niche market with. The second kind of business would be a small or medium business, and this is typically family owned and operated. So it would be yourself and maybe some family members or people close to you that you would be in partnership with. Typically, these are self-funded, plus you may get loans from friends and family. Maybe you would get a small business loan as well. Small, medium businesses typically serve a local or a regional market. And you can have anywhere from a dozen to several hundred employees, depending on what it is that you're selling and how many employees it takes to actually do that. These could be product-based businesses, businesses that actually manufacture things. A lot of them are small, medium businesses. You tend to build the infrastructure slowly. So you start off with maybe one type of product, and then as your business grows, you'll add other types of products. And again, with just like the solopreneur business, no exit strategy in mind. It's probably something that you want to do for the foreseeable future with yourself and your partners or your family. The third type of business is the businesses that get a lot of attention in today's internet world, and these are venture capitalist-backed startups. And with venture capitalist-backed startups, you would generally have to exchange equity, which means ownership in the company, for money. So a lot of people I know want to get investors in their business. So they think that they need to go to angel investors or to venture capitalists to get money. But keep in mind that if an investor is giving you money, they want something in return, and they don't just want money in the future in return. They actually want a piece of ownership of your company. And sometimes that ownership could be over 50%. So you could be giving away control of your company. Typically, if you're going to have a venture capitalist backed startup, it's going to be something that can serve a market that's at least worth $1 billion, because most VCs are not going to fund a business that doesn't have at least that size of a market, because it doesn't make sense to them for their return on investment. So these types of businesses tend to grow very fast. They tend to be very scalable, which is why we see a lot of internet-based businesses get backed by venture capitalists, companies like Google and Facebook and Zynga and Foursquare. You typically need a significant infrastructure because you're growing so quickly, so you need to be able to ramp up your technology and your servers and your employees and your supply chain pretty quickly. And with these types of businesses, exit strategy is definitely a large consideration, because those investors want their money back, and they want it back relatively quickly, within 3 to 5 years generally. So they want to see your company either get acquired by a bigger company or to go public, an initial public offering. So we're going to talk in a little bit about funding, because I know that. So some of the questions that I got for tonight was, how can I get investors for my business? And most likely it's going to be this friends and family realm that you're going to get funding from. If you have notes or questions, by the way, just kind of keep a note, and I'll answer questions when I'm done with the slides, just so we can kind of keep going. Okay, so some things to keep in mind when starting a business. The first thing you want to do is register a domain name. So if you have a name for your business, make sure it's available, preferably a .com extension should be available, and then also get the .net and the .org extensions as well. Check to see if your business name is available as a username on the various social media sites. So check Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google Plus and Instagram and whatever other ones are popular or would be that you would be using based on your audience. If your username is already taken by someone else and they offer something very similar to what you're going to be doing, you may want to think of a different business name so that there's no confusion and so that you can claim your business name on these social media sites. Then you'll want to actually create your business entity, and we'll discuss on the next slide what the options are there. And a disclaimer, I am not an attorney or an accountant, and so you should definitely seek professional advice when starting a business. So these are just kind of things to write down and then take to your attorney and your accountant and ask them these questions. You also will need to file a business license in your state, your county, and your city as applicable. So some cities and counties require a business license, some don't, so you would want to check with where you live and with where you're doing business. You also may need to file a fictitious name registration in your state. So that tells the state that you're going to be doing business under that particular name. So if you're in Florida, there's a website called sunbiz.org, and you can go there to file your business license and your fictitious name registration. And so then just Google that for the state that you're in. You also may need to register for your Federal Employer Identification Number, also known as an FEIN. You can do that through the irs.gov website. You may need to obtain special business licenses or permits based on your industry and location. So you want to check with your state and your county and your city to see exactly what it is that you need. And then you also need to understand what taxes you need to pay and when. And just like with the business entity, best to hire an attorney. With taxes, it's best to hire an accountant to assist with this. Because with businesses, a lot of times you need to file quarterly taxes, so once every quarter, not just once a year. And then, of course, you need to understand what deductions you're allowed to take, what deductions you can't take, how that affects your business tax return, how also that affects your personal tax return, and so on. So there's a lot to understand there. So best to hire a professional counsel for that. Okay, so these are generally the types of business entities that you can choose from. And the reason why, if you're going to be going into business, if you're going to be offering services to people, marketing services or any type of service, or if you're going to be selling a product, you want to have some type of business entity, because this oftentimes is required legally by the government, by the IRS, and also because depending on what type of entity you establish, it also can protect you from liability. So for example, if someone wants to sue you or different legal things like that, then it's best to have some type of business entity for your business. So you can be a sole proprietorship, you can be a partnership, an S corporation, a C corporation, or an LLC. And again, your attorney can help you to determine which is the best entity for you in your particular situation. So for me, for the company that I have, we are an S corporation. That's the one, after my research and talking to an attorney, that we discovered was the best one for us. I also had a company about 5 or 6 years ago that I formed as an LLC because we had a partner with that. And so that's what made sense for us to be an LLC. So again, talk to an attorney to figure out which one will be best for you. Okay, so let's talk about funding your business. So there's quite a number of different ways that you can finance your business when you're starting out or if you want to grow your business. So the first one is self-funding. So this would be using your savings. So maybe you're working and then you're saving money while you're working at your job because you want to start a business. One thing that I strongly caution is using credit cards to start your business. Now, of course, if you need to spend $500 because you need some type of raw materials or something to start your business, then that may be reasonable. But putting thousands and thousands of dollars on credit cards to start your business may not be the best way to go because you're putting yourself into debt at what may be a relatively high interest rate, and you're not sure when you're going to have the revenue to pay that back. So be careful with credit cards. Bootstrapping is always a great way to go. And bootstrapping just means that you will grow your business as revenue comes in. So start small, get a few clients, charge them appropriately to not only cover your overhead, but also to cover extra so you can take some of that money that you made from those clients and then do more marketing and sales or build some more infrastructure with that revenue. Loans from friends and family are also good. There's actually some legal things that you need to do if you are getting loans from friends and family. And I have here just linked, but when you download the slides that I'll give you the link to later on in the session, then when you click on this, you'll get the link to the website because it was too long to paste here. So loans from friends and family are good, but remember that there are some legal things you need to keep in mind with that. SBA loans or small business administration loans can also be a possibility. They tend to have lower interest rates than credit cards do, so that may be good. Angel investors. So angel investors typically invest anywhere from $50,000, $100,000 to maybe $1 million. But just like with venture capitalists, they're looking for a good return on their investment, and they're also looking for some type of ownership or equity in your business. So there's some links here with more information on those. Incubators and accelerators are good if you especially have some type of internet or technology related startup, because they can help you maybe not necessarily with cash. They may not give you actual money, some of them do, but they give you assistance. So they'll give you product development assistance and marketing and sales assistance and an office to work from and mentorship and leadership. So check out that link if it's something that's related to what you're doing. And then finally, crowdfunding. I think this is a really exciting way to fund your business. It's relatively new, with sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo becoming popular over the last couple of years. And it's a really great way not only to fund your business, but also to validate your business idea. Is there actual market for it? Would people actually buy it? So you can know before you even make the product and actually spend the money on making it, is this something that's viable? Will people pay for it? Okay, so let's just run through a couple of things on starting a business, or even if you have already started a business, but you're struggling a little bit. So the main thing, especially when you're starting out, is to really find a niche, find a target market that you can focus on, because you can't be all things to all people. You don't have the money and resources and the time to do so. So you really want to be as focused as you can. So think of the broad topic that you're in. So for example, maybe the broad topic is health and fitness. That's what the industry that you're in. Then think about, okay, well, who would be your target audience? So in this case, let's think about people who travel often. We could even say women who travel often, or professional women who travel often would be an even better target audience. And then think about, well, what problem can I solve for them? What need can I fulfill? And so maybe I can create a mobile app that will help these professional women stay fit while they're on the road. So that's how niche specific you should get in the very beginning, and then you can always broaden afterwards. So after you've determined who your customer segments are, your target customers, then you really want to get into your customers' heads. Start thinking like they think. So understand, well, who are these customers? What are their ages and their genders and their education and their income and their occupation and all of that? Think about their buying habits. How often do they buy what it is that you're selling, your type of product or service? What role do they play? Are they buying it for themselves or for someone else? Are they online or are they on mobile? How much do they rely on recommendations from family and friends and social proof? And also think about their psychographics. What are their attitudes and their values and their lifestyle and their interests and their hobbies? So really almost pretend like you're the customer and even just write down a couple of paragraphs as if you were that customer. Well, these are the things that I value and these are the things that I need in my life. And so as you're to do that, do some research. If you currently have a business, talk to your current customers. Find out what are their needs. Why did they come to you? What problem did your product or service solve for them? You can do surveys with them, or you can just do one-on-one conversations. Look at who your competitors' customers are, not because that you want to take their customers or steal their customers away, but that can give you ideas of maybe other niche markets that you can look at. And then also just think about who can benefit from your product or service. I had a couple of questions from some of you about competition. So what do you do about people who compete with you? And actually competition is a good thing. If you have no competitors whatsoever in your market, that actually may be a bad thing, because if there's no competitors, it may mean that the target market is not large enough so that there's just aren't any people willing to buy the type of product or service. Or it could mean that whatever it is that you're selling, there's just no real need for it. So you may need to rethink that. So if you have competition, that's actually a good thing. And it's really a matter of differentiating yourself from your competitors. So think about what your unique value proposition is. So it's what you do, who your target customer is, and why they should buy from you. I think of it as in the sense of, why should your customers love you? Why would they want to keep coming back to you or refer you to other people? And so, for example, a unique value proposition sentence could be something like, our mobile app helps moms get and stay in shape and feel great with step-by-step exercises and videos for all skill levels. So it explains what this app does, who the target market is, moms, and why they should buy. Exercises and videos for all skill levels. So really start crafting what your one sentence unique value proposition is for your target market. And the next thing you want to do is determine your business model. And I could do a whole session just on business models. I teach a whole class on business models. So we're just going to touch on the highlights here. So for example, Google, their business model is advertising. That's how they make money. They give away most of their services for free, their search, Gmail, all of their apps like Google Docs, even YouTube, which they now own. All of that is free, and they make money when we, the users, click on ads, and the companies who are doing the advertising, they're the ones who pay for those ads. So in Google's case, their business model is advertising in the platform that they've created. Amazon, their business model is e-commerce. So they sell goods. People buy them. Amazon makes money from that transaction, whatever markup that they put on that product. So the product Amazon gets for $5, they turn around and sell it for $7, so they make $2 on that transaction. So that's just a straight e-commerce model. Now, Amazon has other types of things that they sell as well, but for the case of this discussion, we'll just look at them as e-commerce. Basecamp is a software as a service or a web-based platform by a company called 37 Signals, and it's for project management. A lot of you may have used it in the past or use it now for projects, and they make money by charging a monthly subscription. So every month, companies pay $15 or $25 or $100 a month to use this. And so recurring revenue is gold for a business. If you can find a way to have recurring revenue in your business, I strongly recommend that you make that part of your business model, because it will help you to predict your cash flow going into the future. And then you'll also know that you have a certain amount of money coming in. Then anything extra that you sell, if you're doing project-based work or something like that, then that's extra on top of the regular recurring revenue that you can count on. So for example, my business is called Intermedia Solutions, and we do a combination of project-based work and monthly maintenance and support fees. So we charge our clients X amount of dollars to do their website development, and then we charge a monthly fee to provide our support and maintenance for their websites. And we have clients who we have had on monthly recurring plans since the year 2005. So going on 9 years now, we still have the same clients paying us every month. So it's really, I strongly encourage that, especially if you're doing marketing consulting services, find a way to wrap up some type of monthly package for them where you'll go over their SEO or go over their analytics reports or update their website for them every month. The Business Model Canvas is a tool that was created by the people who wrote a book called Business Model Generation. You can go to their website, businessmodelgeneration.com. They have resources on there. They have a link to the book if you're interested in purchasing it. It's a great book to understand how to determine your business model, how to analyze it, and how to understand how these different pieces of your business model fit together. So check that out if you want to learn more. And just a couple of more slides. So one thing that I see with entrepreneurs is that they tend to get bogged down by a lot of the details of starting a business. And so it prevents them from actually going out there and getting revenue, from getting some clients. So think about what is the minimum viable product that you can get out there to start validating your business idea or to start getting a client. And this is called the lean startup methodology. So you could do a beta product. So if you actually are making either a physical, tangible product or a digital product, just release a beta version of it. Start getting feedback. Start seeing if people are interested in using it. Same if beta, a product or a mobile app. You could even just do a landing page. So even if you don't have a website set up yet, or you don't even have a product or service yet, create a landing page that just talks about what it is that you would sell. Maybe have an email sign-up form where people can sign up for the launch of your website or to get a free PDF that you created related to what it is that you're going to eventually sell, something so that you can, again, gauge the interest in your product or service. If you are selling services like marketing, internet marketing services, just pick one or two to start. So don't feel like you have to offer every single type of internet marketing service when you're just starting out. So if you really like to do SEO, then focus on that. And don't worry about branding and pay-per-click advertising and all the rest of it. Just focus on what you like. Conversely, if you really like helping companies with their branding and their storytelling and their messaging, then focus on that and don't worry about SEO and analytics. And then at the beginning, and then you can always add those later on as you get more people on board, as you get more clients, or you can partner with other people to provide those services to your clients. You can also work with a nonprofit or a small business. I know a lot of the challenges that people starting out have is that they don't have a portfolio. They don't have any work examples to show potential clients. So how are they supposed to get these clients? So you could offer your services for free to a nonprofit with a very structured understanding of what exactly it is that you're going to be doing for free. So don't leave it open-ended forever that you're going to be working for them. With a small business, you could work with them for a no cost or a reduced cost so that you can get some examples in your portfolio. So again, one thing is, so to keep in mind that you want to be agile in your business and you want to just get started. And I love these quotes from Pixar. He says, "We don't finish our films, we release them." So, and of course, Pixar films are some of the best movies that are ever made. They're beautifully done, but even they don't think they're ready to be released. So I know as entrepreneurs, we're never 100% satisfied with whatever product or service we want to put out into the world, but just know you need to put it out there. And as the founder of 37 Signals, the creators of Basecamp said, build half a product, not a half-assed product. So again, just get something out there, but make it good, but you don't have to do everything at one time in the beginning. All right, so here's the link where you can download these slides. And I'm going to put that here in the chat box so you can click on that. So now I'm ready to take some of your questions. Let me see. I know I got some questions via email, so let me see who's here on the session. And if you do have a question, you can either type it in the chat box or you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay, let's start with Lana Hardin. She had sent me an email that some of her challenges are basically just understanding some business skills. She has a huge heart, which I could see on her website. She has a beautiful website. And so she's looking for a way to put a solid support system in place that will allow her to grow. So her website is lanahardin.com if she wants to add it to the chat box. That would be great so that other people can see it, because I really can see the passion and heart that she has for the singing that she does and for the speaking engagements that she wants to get. So my recommendations, Lana, would be to get really clear about who your target audience is. So on your website, you talk about wanting to do speaking engagements and having people hire you for your singing. So understand who your ideal customer is and what need you're fulfilling for them. And then that will help you to know where to go to find those ideal customers, as well as what kind of information to put on your website. So when those types of customers come to your site, they know, oh, okay, yes, this is who I'm looking for. This will fulfill the need that I have. All right, and she has some other questions about financing and finding investors. So hopefully some of the things that I talked about on the slides will help. And Lana, if you have any further follow-up questions, just go ahead and type them in the chat box. All right, we had Mario also ask a question. This was actually a really great question that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to. So he does film projects, and he does really great film projects. I've seen some of them from when he was in class. And so he's in a lot of narrative film projects, so kind of a longer term project. But now his company is going to be creating marketing videos, so short promos for businesses. So his question is, should I go after businesses that already understand the video streaming potential, or should I go after businesses that still need to be educated in the potential of online marketing? So this is a great question. There really is no right answer. So it all depends on if you want to take the time to educate those businesses, and there's pros and cons to that. So back when I first started my web development business about 14, 15 years ago, I knew that part of my sales process was I had to educate businesses on the need for them to have a website, because people weren't convinced back in 1999, 2000 that they needed a website. So I knew that was just part of what I had to do. But by the time I got to about the year 2005, 2006, I decided that I was done trying to convince business owners that they needed a website. If they didn't already see the value in having a website by the year 2005, then they could happily go to another web development company, because I wasn't going to take my time to convince them, because there were too many other businesses out there that did see the need for a website. So I focused on attracting those types of businesses instead. So I think that creating these video promos for businesses is at a similar stage to where we were with websites in the early 2000s, where a lot of businesses see the potential for having videos, but they're not quite convinced of the ROI. So you may need to spend some time educating them. The advantage of doing that is if you go after businesses that are not yet quite convinced, is that you may have less competition, because other video production companies are not going after those businesses. So it's a really matter of time of how much you enjoy educating the businesses on the benefits. And maybe you want to just spend some of your time on those types of businesses, but the majority of your time on the businesses that already do see the potential. So hope that helps, Mario. Let me know if you have any other questions about that or anything else related to your business. All right, so Amber asks, in a generic small business, who are usually the first hires? What is usually the most important? So that's a good question, Amber. I would say an accountant, a CPA, is someone that you don't hire them as an employee, but you definitely contract their services. So that would be a must-have, because they will help you tremendously in understanding your books and your taxes. So I would say that for small businesses, it really is going to depend on the type of business. So if you're doing marketing services, you may find that you need someone to help you implement those. So maybe you need someone to manage client social media accounts, or to do the SEO or to do the content writing. So it's really going to depend on what type of product or service that you have. If Amber, if you want to ask about a specific type of question, then I can help you with that. I would also say that for your business, start putting processes in place in the very beginning of what you do as the owner of the business, as the entrepreneur. Because so often we get sucked into doing everything, because when we start out, we have to do everything because there's no one else around to do it for us and we can't afford to pay anyone. And then we kind of get used to doing everything, and it's difficult to let it go, to give it to someone else, delegate it, because not only is it difficult because we have to train someone else, but also because we feel like someone else can't do it as well as we can. I know I have faced that struggle in my own business. So now what I have done is I put together Word documents and Google Docs and videos that show exactly what it is that I do for our clients. And then when I have someone else who I contract to help with us, or a freelancer who maybe steps in and helps with us, they know exactly what the best practices are and what I expect of them for the business. So definitely start thinking of your systems and processes early on so you can start delegating when you feel like you're getting more work than you personally can handle. Okay, let me go back up here. Okay, Mario, I'll create a sizzle reel that explains our process and the potential of video marketing. Okay, great idea. Great. Okay, Lana. Let's see. I'm just overwhelmed with everything to learn with the age of social media and viral marketing. I feel like as a solopreneur, I can't keep up, and you can't. I can't keep up either. Blogging, social media, creating landing pages, etc. It's hard to get ahead of the market with everything there is to learn. Do you recommend anything to help? So I would just say start with what you do know. So Lana, you have a beautiful website. I visited it after you had sent me the email. So you're there. I mean, you have it there. So really for you, I think if you just spend the time understanding who your ideal customers are, what they look like, what needs they're solving, where are they located, how can you find them, how are they going to find you? I think once you understand who those customers are, then that will help you to tweak the messaging on your website so that you can say, okay, I'm here and I can be hired for your speaking engagement, and this is what I offer, and this is what I can do for you. And then as far as social media, just pick maybe one platform to start with. So if it's Facebook or if it's Twitter, whatever one your customers are on, to start with that and just focus on that, or focus on the one that you like. You don't have to be on all the social media platforms, especially at the same time. So spend a good amount of time on Facebook for 6 months, and after you're good with that and you have your flow down, then maybe join Twitter, if that makes sense for your audience. All right, let's see. Okay, go back. Noristine, okay. Yeah, the session is being recorded, so you can check on that. Yeah, Amy says, don't try to do everything. So true. All right, Michelle says, I have clients that I've had to educate that said the most important thing I have found is having patience with the client and setting limitations on how much you're willing to educate the client. Great point. I'm in the process of writing an ebook of general marketing terms and other educational information. My concentration is SEO and email marketing. Yes, that's great, especially when it comes to internet marketing. There are so many small business owners that you may deal with who approach you because they're interested in hiring you or getting more information from you. And they feel like they can do it all themselves, that they can manage their social media and their website and their blog and do their SEO because, I mean, yes, in theory, they could do it, but that's not their area of expertise. Their area of expertise is running their own business with whatever it is that they're selling. And so education is important, but you don't go overboard. And if you teach them too much how to do everything, then they're going to feel overwhelmed as well. So kind of reassuring them that you're going to take care of those things, but that you'll train them if they feel like making a Facebook update on their fan page. They know how to do that. Okay, James, let's see. I'm looking to start a streaming, okay, let's go back. Here we go. Streaming music archive of MP3 and video performances in a niche market that will provide revenue streams to recording artists and songwriters. I have over 50,000 MP3s. Wow. Should I start small with the out of print and hard to find artists first, or do you have another suggestion? So that's a great question. Let me go, James, let me go down. I am thinking as a nonprofit with educational content, how to play the song's lyrics, use an example of songwriting examples. Okay. So James, as far as the 50,000 MP3s that you have, are they all in a similar music genre, or do they run the gamut of different types of genres? If they're all very similar genres, then okay, so it's all Christian music genre. So in that case, then you don't necessarily have to limit yourself to only selling the ones that are out of print or hard to find. You could have all 50,000 available for sale on your website, but your marketing message may focus on the out of print and the hard to find one. So, when people come to the homepage of your website, they see, looking for these artists, the out of print ones or the hard to find ones. We have them here, but then have still the rest of the 40,000 songs available for download too, because once people start searching and looking at your site, you want to make sure that they can buy the other ones. All right, keep coming with your questions. I had a question from Stephanie, who says that she's interested in starting a full service marketing agency, and she wants to target small businesses that are not yet on the internet, or small businesses in general who are looking into marketing their business. What obstacles would I have to overcome in order to be successful and become a strong competitor against the larger agencies for business? So these are also great questions. So if you're targeting small businesses, either those not yet on the internet or ones who are just starting to use the internet for marketing, the larger marketing agencies are not really going to be your competitors. So because most small businesses won't be able to afford the fees of those larger agencies. So I would not focus on the larger agencies. Instead, your competitors really are other small agencies like yourself and freelancers, as well, like I mentioned before, the mindset that some small business owners have that says, oh, I can do the marketing myself. So think about, back to this, your ideal client and how you can market your specific knowledge and expertise and how you can relate to small businesses because you're a small business yourself. And depending on if you want to focus on a specific niche or a specific industry of small businesses or focus on small businesses in your geographic location, then you can connect and relate with them based on those commonalities. And also on your affordable prices compared to the larger agencies because you don't have the overhead that they have. And then explain it's better to have someone like you to help get them started, and that you can either offer some type of training services as part of your package, again, just to give them a little bit of knowledge about how to do some of the basic things with their marketing. And then she also asked, what are some of the key reasons why marketing agencies fail? And this is probably true for any business, not just agencies. And I would say that it could just be loss of clients. So you have 10 clients, and then for whatever reason, a few of them cancel on you because they go out of business themselves, or they can't afford your services anymore, or maybe they graduate to a larger agency because they've grown and they need something bigger. So loss of clients can be one of the reasons. So just make sure that you're constantly seeking new business. Referrals are a great way to go for that. And that you don't have, say, one client that's a really large percentage of your overall revenue. So say you're making $10,000 a month, but one of those clients say you have 10 clients and you're making $10,000 a month, and one client is paying you $5,000 a month, and the other clients are paying you maybe $500 or $300 a month. If you just lose that one client who's paying you $5,000, you've lost half of your monthly revenue. So make sure to spread out that. Having too much overhead can be a big reason why businesses fail because they think they're going to grow, so they start hiring maybe too soon for what they need, and then their revenue drops and they still have to continue to pay salaries or office space. So just try to keep down your overhead expenses as much as possible. I would say when you first start out, use contractors and freelancers if you need help with work, and hold off on actually hiring full-time employees until you know you have a solid revenue base to go from. And then another reason why businesses fail would be just not identifying a niche market a market that they can really focus on for their marketing and their sales. All right, great questions from everyone. Let's see here. Okay, Sean, I'm starting to work on my recurring revenue. I'm a little concerned about it. I do web development for companies and I currently use a large CMS, but I want to use something simple that I can set up for monthly charge website. My concern comes from support. If I get 300 monthly customers and there are problems, it would be impossible for me to take care of them all. Yeah, great question and great problem to have. And so I have these same thoughts that go into my mind with my web development company as well. And I would say that if you get to 300 monthly customers, then that's great. And hopefully by then you have enough of the revenue base where you can hire a support person or a couple of people to work part-time or to work different hours of the day to cover the support questions that your customers would have. I would also say to partner with a really good hosting company who will handle the infrastructure for the websites. For example, we put all of our clients on WP Engine because we develop WordPress websites. And so WP Engine has a great infrastructure and great support. So they handle the servers. We don't have to do that. So our support that we offer is updating the website, keeping the plugins updated, keeping the WordPress framework updated, answering their questions, adding forms if they need to add forms. So things where they're not emergencies or things that are not urgent, so that I know that if I don't answer an email in a few hours, the website, is not burning down because the hosting company is taking care of that. So hopefully that helps, Sean. All right, and thanks everyone for sharing your links and with each other. And Sean says he uses liquidweb.com. Okay, I haven't heard of them. Great. Okay, so Sean asked, what other recurring ideas do you have for income for web developers? Well, if you're already charging clients for their hosting and for supporting their website, you could start offering them internet marketing services. So if you want to do regular SEO updates for them, content updates, if you want to do analytics reports for them every month to show them these are the number of visitors that you got, these are the pages that were viewed the most often. Yes, most clients could just go to their own Google Analytics or go into the back end of their website to see that, but a lot of them don't or don't think about it. So you could prepare a monthly report for them to do that. What about the rest of you guys? Do you have any suggestions for recurring monthly revenue for web developers or for marketers? You could do training webinars, ebooks. Great idea, Michelle. No? All right. Well, that's all. No more questions for tonight. Then I'm going to let you guys go early. So thank you so much again for joining us for our Let's Talk series. Again, next month, our third session will be Let's Talk Public Relations with Course Director Amy Burrows. So just keep an eye out for an announcement about that to sign up if you're interested in learning more about online PR. And thank you again for coming. And don't forget to download the slides from here as well. And if you have any other questions about entrepreneurship that I can answer, I'd be glad to do so, as long as it's not legal or tax related. I'd be glad to help you. All right, everyone, have a great evening.